Yeah, and the only question is it going to be a Heat kind of super team, where all they have to do is put it together and we'll get 4 straight finals runs, or is it going to be a Nets kind of super team, where all the players go off the rails and nothing ever gets done and we never see them play together?
You are listening to And If Love Remains, a unique show spotlighting people, ideas, science, culture, and art. Your host, Mike Lovett.
You know what, Rachel? You are correct. This is Mike Lovett, your host of that great podcast in the sky, And If Love Remains. And I am once again here with the man, the machine, the legend himself, Stephen Lovett. Welcome back, Brother Steve.
You wrote me into a sports podcast, and here I am.
See?
So here we are.
Here we are. And yes, we are doing sports today. I love it. One of the passions that I have not been discussing on this podcast much, so I'm excited to, I think we're going to make this thing a regular thing, I hope, right?
We'll see how it goes. We'll see if you can keep me in this. Keep me going.
We're going to get a contract negotiation here on air.
I'll take a 10-day. Take a 10-day release. No.
Speaking of contracts and, heavy top heavy teams in contract land, shall we talk about the Suns for a minute?
Sure. We talked a little bit yesterday on our Father's Day special. If you all wouldn't mind tuning into that one, that was a fun one for us. But we started talking about the Bradley Beal trade. We started talking about how Landry Shamet wasn't really going anywhere, and love Chris Paul and all he did for us, but we're glad to be rid of that deal.
So, okay, so after thinking about it for a few hours, what is your overall take on the trade that the Suns made, and where does that leave them?
Bradley Beal, he comes into this contract with a no trade clause because the Wizards are stupid. And that's one thing that I want to start on is no matter how much I want to renounce my fandom of the Suns, no matter how dumb they get, no matter what stupid moves they make, there's always the Wizards and the Knicks to just bolster my spirits.
Truth.
Just like with the Cardinals, there's always the Texans to give us DeAndre Hopkins.
That's right.
There's always someone dumber, and which is a terrible place to be as a sports fan. But as far as this trade goes, I mean, we're getting a great shooting guard out of the East who is kind of exiting his prime. He's turning 30 this year.
Yeah, I would still say he's in his prime. I mean, I know he had some injuries, but I think I would say he probably has 2 or 3 years of prime left in him.
Yeah, for sure. And he's only a couple years off of a season where he was really close to being a scoring champion. Bradley Beal is that guy, and he can be that guy for the Phoenix Suns. The only question is, will he fit with 2 shooting guards in the lineup? What will the lineup even be? We still have yet to see what kind of depth they will create out of the 10-day contracts that they can afford.
Speaking of depth, what's their starting lineup right now?
I don't know I really hope this isn't their starting lineup. But
if they were to play today,
they have 5 players under contract from what I've seen that are Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and the 2 and DeAndre Ayton and Cameron Payne. So out of those 5, if that's your starting lineup,
that's not a bad starting lineup.
That'll win you as many games as players that foul out, but I don't know how over the course of 82 games you're not going to have a Chris Paul problem all over again with Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
So Bradley Beal has had COVID a couple times. Durant's had some injury problems, so we'll kind of just see how this team figures it out.
It is weird how they've completely doubled down on the forget the any kind of bear and this is where you got to kind of give respect to Matt Ishbia. Forget the rules. Forget any kind of barrier that the league puts in to kind of keep from teams from creating, I guess, a super team. He's just okay, I'm just going to blow right through it.
Yeah, and the only question is it going to be a Heat kind of super team where all they have to do is put it together and we'll get 4 straight finals runs, or is it going to be a Nets kind of super team where all the players go off the rails and nothing ever gets done and we never see them play together? So
Yeah.
hopefully it works out for the best, but
But here's the thing. The West is still freaking stacked.
that's what I was going to say, that I'm less concerned about injuries and less concerned about the depth and more just concerned about how much of a beast Nikola Jokic is. That dude trips into a 50-point triple-double throughout the entire playoffs.
Yeah.
He's like, if Shaq were Larry Bird, that's Nikola Jokic.
Wait. If Shaq were Larry Bird. Okay, I followed it.
Just an unstoppable offensive force.
I understood what you said there. I mixed. Yeah,
No, you're
I
good.
agree. Yeah, he's pretty incredible, and I hate him for it. Only because
I think he'd be your favorite player. I mean,
if you were on the Suns,
I think you have the same vertical. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, yeah, you're right. He doesn't jump. My vertical was much better in high school than his is now.
But that Nuggets team and the way that they play, and they just want it like more than I think anybody else in the West besides what's left of LeBron James' spirit. I think like
His broken soul.
I mean, 9 straight finals got to take something out of you. So
Yeah,
I mean,
it's nice.
he's chugging along.
It's nice not having him in the finals.
Except for him, you know.
Right.
But
Well, the Nuggets, like, man, it's hard to hate that team, but I want to hate that team.
I want to love that
But-
team, but somehow the Suns just gotta keep sticking me around.
Michael Porter Jr. still seems like kind of like an unlikable. He's got a punchable face to me. So, I got nothing against.
Okay, if they traded Michael Porter Jr. for Mikal Bridges, you'd love the Nuggets?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
they might be my favorite team.
We're Mikal Bridges fans here on this,
Yes, we
this
are.
podcast.
They gave up too much for Kevin Durant.
They did. They absolutely gave up too much for Kevin Durant. I can talk about that.
Talk about it.
They gave up. Mikal Bridges is a beast and is a defensive anchor.
And we knew that. I just, for the record, want to say that I remember telling everybody I know, including my brother, including you, and you were telling me, watch out, Mikal Bridges will be an all-star. He will be an all-defensive player. He will be one of those, like, on the cusp of all NBA second team kind of guys.
And he'll be in the conversation for defensive player of the year every season.
Yeah.
He's
that good. And and you could see he was that good. That's what ticks me off. You could see he was that good.
I mean, he looks just like Kevin Durant. He's like 4 inches shorter. That's it.
Yeah.
And Kevin Durant's Kevin Durant. But
And Mikal Bridges is a better defender.
yeah, especially at this point in their career, he led the defense. He made DeAndre Ayton look good as a defender,
Which is not easy.
which is not easy. And yeah, Nets fans, you're gonna love him. He's my favorite, and have fun with that.
Yeah. And
Have fun watching him crush Matisse Thybulle's soul. I don't even know where he plays anymore, but that was another one of my favorite players a couple of years ago who was super good at just
But-
nailing down that defense.
and then having Cam Johnson, we're just do a little. We're gonna sidetrack to the Nets for a little bit, and then Cam Johnson. I mean, I've always loved Cam Johnson. He's just a cool dude. The dude can shoot lights out. I mean, he's not a streaky shooter. He's a solid shooter.
He's a robot.
and he's a better defender and athlete than people give him credit for.
Yeah. I mean, even in the Maverick series where Luka was bodying everyone, I mean, Cam Johnson was bodying him up right back, and Luka was having to work for those points. I mean, he still got 40, but he was having to work for that 40 points.
Yeah,
So-
Luka gets Euro trash calls.
I'm going to leave that one alone. But Cam Johnson is fantastic. Mikal Bridges is amazing, and we miss them here in Phoenix.
We do. We do. We will be Nets fans for as long as they're on that team. Okay.
And as long as Richard Jefferson keeps roasting the Knicks.
Oh, so what do you think about what's this with Green in Golden State? Is he on the move? Is he? What do you think?
I don't want to see him on the move. I think.
What if the Suns could get him for like, some cheap deal, like some veterans minimum thing?
I think he and Kevin Durant would get in a fist fight. Maybe. No, they're they're both professionals. They probably wouldn't do that. But I think it would be an interesting dynamic on that team to see.
Could you imagine Booker, Beal, Durant, Green? No, you know who'd get in a fist fight is if DeAndre Ayton's still on that team.
They would. And then you have, you have all these scorers and just having Draymond out on the perimeter just screaming at them to pass the ball.
Well, and Draymond, see, that's the thing. That's where that team would work because Draymond would be your de facto point guard. You know?
I mean, more than Booker would be, which would get Booker more in that situation where he could be a scorer, where he could be the guy you go to in those situations and have Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal more work off of him, which I think should be the case at this point in all of their careers.
I think the Suns should this is my opinion, they should either do all they can to get Draymond Green. I think that would actually be a really good pickup for them. Mm-hmm. Or I think they should just quadruple down and just spend a ton of money and get Van Fleet out of Toronto. Just another $200 million contract.
I mean, at that point, ask for a Kawhi.
Right.
Ask for Pascal Siakam to come out of there.
Yeah, I mean, we could use another 4.
We could. I mean, I hear Joel Embiid's available. I hear he's on the market.
For the right,
Shaq is also coming out of retirement. So
for the right price, everybody's on the market. I think Matt Ishbia is going to push that theory.
In fact, Michael Jordan himself was just offered a piece of the team since he just sold his Hornets share.
Did you see that he's selling that?
Yeah. I mean, well, when you can't sell a house, sell an NBA team. Well, you know what they say. So, we know.
Sure, and there's another piece of work, man. As far as like complete. So here's my one concern about what the Suns have done. Because again, I told you yesterday, it's not my money, so I don't care. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan. I want to see a championship, and I like to see, So yeah. I like an owner. Here's my concern: is Ishbia's best friend.
Ishbia's best friend,
Isaiah Thomas, who apparently Chris Paul, the rumor, he did an interview and made quite a few references to it was Isaiah Thomas's idea to get Chris Paul out of there. So, I don't want.
Is Isaiah Thomas coming out of retirement? New rumor unfolds.
I do not want Isaiah Thomas anywhere near this team ever. I do not like him. I didn't like him as a Piston. I don't like him as a player. I think he's a cheap shot dude. I think he was a good player. I think he's Hall of Famer or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I think he's like maybe one of the worst human beings as far as like just being a human being.
So not a team building guy that you want near the Suns.
No. I mean, just look what he did to the Knicks. Look what he did to the CBA.
Who are the Knicks? No, I'm just kidding.
Right? I think they're still paying out for his problems.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my concern. But, whatever,
Man, the way those Pistons turned out in the end.
Mahorn,
Bill Laimbeer, Rodman.
Whoa, okay. Yeah, that was a strange team.
That was oh my goodness. I hadn't even thought of all of that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Craziness. Well,
so.
All right, so we're going to shift gears, I think.
Shift gears a little bit. Go a little.
By the way, yeah, because there is actually a season that's actually happening right now.
Oh. My goodness, is there?
And we're talking about, the D-backs, the baseball seasons in town.
The Arizona Diamondbacks first in the NL West. On fire.
Corbin Carroll, MVP, baby. I mean, come on. Let's make this happen.
Arizona has to have at least one NBA. No, I mean, just MVP in general. My bad. My thoughts still on the last one.
Does Corbin Carroll hit the corner three?
Can he hit the corner three is the big question we need to ask him. Get him on this podcast.
Right. Oh, man. Yeah, no, he is so good. Have you seen him play?
How good is he?
Oh, my God. So I'm being serious. He's like Ichiro with power. He is so fast. Ooh. He is so fast.
66 stolen bases by the team, and how many by him?
And he's I think 20.
That's crazy.
And he's not here's what I love about it. It's not just about the speed. Like if you see him run a triple, his technique on hitting those bases, and that's something that we don't like. You just if you imagine like running around the bases, like it seems like just as kind of a simple thing to do, but there's actually a really, there's a real technique to it, so that you're hitting all those bases at full stride, and you're not doing little double hits, and because you got to hit each base, but at the same time you don't want to break stride at all. So there's a real technique to how do you make those turns, and man, he looks so smooth, and he is so fast, and he turns. He'll be on first base, and if you hit it just a little bit in the gap, even if you hit a single, he's going to third base. It's insane. He is Ichiro. I'm not gonna say Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson is like on another level.
Ricky's Ricky, man.
Ricky is still an alien, man. That jeez. But yeah, Ichiro. He's Ichiro with power. And I think he's got 20 home runs too. Not
infield home runs, everybody. Infield home runs by this man. He is absolutely killing the game.
But they're good. Like, there's the front end of their starting pitching is excellent. It's really good. But I don't know what they're gonna do about I think they need another, like a number 3 or number 4 starter, and I think they need somebody solid to help in the bullpen, because whenever they lose, it's really about giving up in the. Whoa! Sorry, that was a yawn. Giving up runs at the back end of the game.
You can't give up the run on the back end of the game.
No, you can't. You can't. But I'm really excited, and one of the things that makes me most happy about them being in first place is what? That the Dodgers are not.
Amen. We root for losing more than winning, folks.
No, it's true. I'm a big believer in hatred in sports. It kind of drives me. And so, yes, it is a good thing when Satan's spawn, otherwise known as the Los Angeles Dodgers, are not in first place and are losing. That makes me extremely happy, because I am not, and have never will be, and will never be, a fan of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
So if they moved to Vegas, you'd be okay?
No.
Okay.
Dodger Blue.
Had to check. There's enough teams moving to Vegas right now.
That's true. They are the next super city.
So,
but speaking of Vegas, like my two of my very favorite teams ever growing up have and are moving to Vegas. The Raiders have moved there, and the A's are moving there, which is kind of cool because that's only like 4 hours away, man.
That's a lot cooler than where they were.
Yeah, we should go
5 hours away.
Maybe by plane.
Sorry, I couldn't handle that one back.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so back to the NBA. Nuggets. You're a big fan of the Nuggets, aren't you?
I'm a big fan of how they play. I'm a big fan of their defense. I'm a big fan of, Jokic is just a professional basketball player.
Okay, so let's talk about the West.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you have the Nuggets,
Hold on, I'm gonna pull up who's in the West.
you have the Suns.
Yep.
I'm trying to think, like, would the Clippers be the next best team
Um,
if they're healthy?
every other team has to do with health and fit around their superstars. So that's where I'd put the Clippers, Warriors, Lakers. Like,
What about the Mavericks? They
I mean,
kinda
is Luca
slip-
ever gonna figure it out?
No, we can always. At least we hope not. What about I hope not. I'll be more
Yeah.
specific. What about Okay, now here's an interesting team, the Spurs.
That's gonna be. I don't. Okay, here's a hot take.
Okay, I'm thinking it might be the same hot take I have. So go ahead. I'll let you have it.
Okay, I don't know that they choose Wemby.
Ooh,
I
love it.
I don't like because and that sounds terrible to say because he is. If you've seen his highlights, he's a freak, man. He's like if you took Kevin Durant and made him like,
Added 4 inches.
and then added 4 inches and also made him like, when was Durant drafted? 2006?
Something like that. I don't know.
Six or seven? I don't remember.
Whenever,
but like,
whenever the Sonics were
but, like,
still in
put-
Seattle.
put Durant into his like third year and like put him together like that, and that's what like Wembanyama is coming in as.
But okay.
Like his skill and the way and his poise and his footwork and his conditioning, like he is taking care of himself and he looks amazing.
Okay. I have 2 problems with him as a pick. And you tell me if this is what you're thinking. Number 1, I think he has like some of the best footwork I've seen from a young kid. But I think he's slow.
Okay.
Okay? I think that's going to hurt him. Number 2, he could fill out, but I don't know if he will. He is slight. And I understand Kevin Durant is the thin reaper. I totally get that. But I don't get the same, like, yeah, Kevin Durant has a I think better fast twitch muscle group than he does. And so I'm actually like, my hot take is they may or may not draft him. I think there's a 50% chance he's a bust.
Yeah, I think
His bust potential is really high in my mind.
I think his bust potential is high as well. I can see why you draft him though.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know why I don't know how you couldn't draft. Like, you almost have to draft him. But so why don't you think the Spurs might? Why do you think they might consider not drafting him?
I don't think. Okay, so I'll just think out loud here for a second. The Spurs, they like their European players. They like them to have those fundamentals. They like them to be big and skilled and all of that. And he is everything that they want. Just the way he's built, do you go with a safer pick? Do you go with somebody who's like, he looks really injury prone to me, at least for the first couple seasons.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because look, here's who he is. He's Jokic, right? Mm-hmm. He's Jokic. He's more fluid. He's a more fluid Jokic, but he's also a way skinnier Jokic. Yeah. What makes Jokic work is that he's burly.
He's burly. He's
burly. He's a pot belly. Like, he's got a big butt. Like, you know, he's just like, he's tough to get around and maneuver around. He's strong. He's long, but he's also big. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I just don't see those same traits, and I could see him getting eaten up by real men.
Now, I do know that he has like coaches and health trainers, and like he is preparing himself for the NBA probably better than a prospect who's looked like that ever has. But
yeah, okay.
Even still,
I'm gonna make a comp here, and this is not fair to him, but it is. But Sean Bradley. Sean Bradley had some of the biggest hype out of BYU back in the day. I don't know if you even remember who he is. or know who he is.
I've seen him in some
7'6", like he could shoot, he could pass. He was part of the, a team that was like one of the best passing teams in the history of the NCAA. He had all the skills, He just could not put on weight. He couldn't, he had all the trainers. He was with the Bullets, I think he was with the Bullets. And it just never really worked out. Because in the NBA, it's as much as it's about skill, it's about athleticism and being a man, being able to body up. That's what separates Devin Booker is he's just willing to take the punishment and dish it out offensively. And I just, I don't know. I see bust. I'm not predicting it. I just see it.
One also difference is, the magic 3 letters.
What's that?
PEDs.
Okay.
I think that's
true. That
case made.
Yeah. Okay. He'll be fine.
I need you to
I'll start in the second year.
We'll just hold off on the comps to Sean Bradley. Start on the comps to Giannis. And I think we're on our.
You're in the right.
I think we're in the right stratosphere now.
Woo! Hot Take Central here on And If Love Remains.
I mean, training and coaching and everything these athletes have is better than ever, and to see everybody's build improves.
But DNA is DNA
until it's not.
Until you go to some crazy lab in Siberia.
Hot takes. We got Queen Lizzie rolling over in the grave right now. Here we go.
Oh man.
Genetics are genetics. Okay.
Until they're not. Okay. Yeah.
We just came out with AI. You don't think genetic splicing's next? You thought this wasn't going to be a science podcast, but here we are talking about base running technique and genetic splicing.
Oh boy, here we go. Yes. Good thing we're not monetized yet.
Isn't there a quote from somebody who's I want to watch superheroes play basketball? Isn't that the goal?
That is the goal. There's a great Bill Burr take.
That's what I'm thinking.
Bill Burr's just I want them all to take PEDs. I want them all to figure it out for the rest of us so we know what the right dose to take. We don't screw up our own bodies. Let them be the mice in this grand experiment.
Hey man, if you're getting paid millions of dollars, let's do some research. Let's figure this out together.
Right. It's good stuff. All right. Well, okay. Well,
on that note, everybody,
this has been a wild first edition of the sports edition of And If Love Remains.
It has been. Maybe next time we'll come up with a little bit more of an outline.
I don't know. This kind of worked.
Outline, outlier, whatever.
Well, Steven, that was great. We'll do it again.
We will. Hopefully the Nuggets won't.
You are listening to And If Love Remains.
First of 23 installments requested by Dr. Levitt. Trying to be in compliance here because we're taking him and that whole organization down.